Our film begins with a man named Philip, who is married to a woman named Julie, who will be his second wife because his first wife died in an accident, and Philly decided that he would marry another woman because there is someone to take care of him and his son, but his son, Martin, rejects the idea and is forced to accept Philip's situation. He goes to work, and before he leaves, he asks Julie to bear down. His son, even if he annoys her, and Julie tells him that he is reassuring, and then she goes to the kitchen and feels bored because she is alone in the house and Martin refuses to talk to her, so she goes out to the garden, and Joe and Martin change. He is watching her from afar, and when Julia leaves the house, Martin invites his friend, and there his friend tells him that he should not lose his father because he is a rich person and has companies, and Martin replies to him that there is no. There are problems between him and his father, and his main problem is Julie. While he is watching TV, he hears the sound of his father and Julie laughing from the kitchen. Then Julie comes and tells him that she asked. Pizza is the kind he likes, and Philip comes and asks him to eat with them, but he leaves the place, and then Julie goes to his room and tells him that she feels his pain because it is not easy for the person. His mother dies, and she asks him to treat her like a friend and not a stepmother, and the next day Julie returns to the same routine, and she doesn't know what to do when she's bored and asks Philip. He returns the maid who used to work for them before, and we see the maid, whose name is Nadine, and Julie goes to get to know her and wants to help her with the housework, but Nadine asks her what. She helps her and makes herself tired because this is her job. Julie leaves the kitchen, and when Nadine finishes cleaning, Julie asks her to sit and talk to her, and Julie asks her about the death of Martin's mother. Nadine tells her that she died of a heart attack, and Philip returns home and gets his things because he will stay up in another city for work, and he tells her that he will stay there for 3 days, and before he leaves, he will enter. We have a relationship with Julie, after which we see Julie feeling bored because no one talks to her, and Martin is talking to Nadine, and Julie feels jealous because Martin treats Nadine nicely. She goes to the forest to play sports, and when she comes back, she goes into the pool and Martin is watching her from afar and taking pictures of her, and we learn that Martin has begun to be attracted to Julie and that Julie is preparing lunch. Martin goes to her and she asks him if she is bringing him lunch, but Martin refuses and leaves. Then we see Philip returning home, and Julie goes to receive him and tries to enter into a relationship with him. But he refuses and tells her that he doesn't have any time because he wants to finish the project. Julie gets upset and leaves, and when the project is finished, he apologizes to her because he treated her in a bad way, and they go in. In a relationship, the next day, Julie sees Martin repairing the bike and offers to help him, and she is actually able to fix it. Martin thanks her and begins to accept her presence and begins to exercise with her every morning. Their relationship became stronger, and Nadine saw him going into his room and telling him that Nadine is an arrogant woman, and he told her that he got the wrong idea about her, because Julie is actually a nice woman at night. They sit and have dinner together for the first time and talk, and Philip calls Julie and tells her that he will stay in the office today and we will see Martin and Julie in the living room and Julie will be there. She is sad because Philip is always far away from her, and Martin kisses her and tells her not to worry, that he is here, and here begins Julie's betrayal of her husband, indicating a love relationship with Martin, and the second day he tells her that he loves her. He hates the idea of her marrying his father, and then we see him with his friend who asks him the reason for his happiness and tells him that he had the wrong idea about Julie, and Julie interrupts them and asks them if they need something and go to the forest to exercise. At dinner, Philip is surprised that his son is sitting having dinner with them, and what surprises him is that his son is sitting laughing with Julie, who had refused her presence in the room. The house and this thing make Philip happy because Martin accepts Julie's presence among them. The next day, Philip goes out to work, and Martin and Julie go out and say goodbye to him, and then they go to his room and enter. In a relationship, as the days pass, the love between them increases, and at night someone puts a piece of cloth on her eyes, and she thinks it is Martin, but she is surprised that it is Philip, and he takes her to the room and enters with her. They are in a relationship, and the next day, Martin and Julie are taking their time in the garden, but they do not know that Nadine has seen them, and when Martin sees her, he starts to get nervous and tells her to forget what he saw. For her safety, at night fear and anxiety are evident on Martin, and Philip is noticing, and Julie tries to start a discussion, but Philip tells her that he is tired and asks her to follow him to the room. Martin prefers to wait for her outside the room, and when she comes out, Martin kisses her and tries to enter into a relationship with her, but Julie pushes him and tells him that the time is not appropriate, and the next day, Philip will see. Martin is staying up late in the living room and Philip asks him why. Martin responds and says it is because of the pressure of studying. Philip says he goes to play sports with Julie and Julie comes back. During practice, she enters the shower, Martin enters with her, and Martin tells her that she must leave his father if she loves him, and Julie ignores him and goes out, and at night he hears them laughing together and he walks beside them and his father notices and knows that something strange is going on. Then in the morning, Philip goes to work. Martin enters the room and watches Julie while she is sleeping, and when she wakes up, he tells her that he loves her, and Julie asks him to stay away from her before anyone suspects them, because Martin's actions attracted attention and Philip noticed, and Martin apologizes to her and promises her that Philip will not do it again. From work, Martin asks him to fire Nadine from work because they don't need a maid, and Philippe tells him who will make the food and clean, and Martin tells him that he will take care of the housework. Philippe laughs at his words and says that he gives him another reason to tell him that Nadine stole my camera, and Philippe, the first he knows this, flatters her and gives her her full salary and tells her that he will put her to work. Another place, and when Julie finds out, she gets upset and tells Martin that Nadine is not a thief, so he can accuse her of stealing, and Martin tells her that she did that so that no one would reveal our relationship, and Philip enters. They hug them and Julie hugs him so that he doesn't doubt anything. Then Martin smiles at Julie because they won't use his father's room, and Philip takes them to the house by the lake to spend their vacation. The week there, Philip goes with Martin to the forest and tells him that he was a spoiled person all along, and Philip always tried to give him everything he asked for, and that he loved him and could forgive him for his mistakes. Kabira and Martin ask him about the purpose of his words, and Philip says, "Whatever you are thinking about is my purpose." They then return home after spending their vacation at the lake, and Martin is drinking a lot. He spends his time at the disco, but Julie doesn't like his behavior. She throws water on him and talks to him, but he ignores her. The next day, she hears him talking to his father about her, and Martin telling Philip something wrong about her. She is afraid that he will ruin her marriage to Philip, and Philip goes to work, and Martin goes to her room and tries to have a relationship with her, but she refuses, and Martin tells her that he will tell his father everything, and she is afraid of him, and she regrets that she loved Martin, and Martin begins to control her while they are playing sports. He asks her to climb the edge of the bridge, and when she refuses, he tries to climb her by force. She pushes him from above and he dies, and Julie returns to her normal life because she is reassured that no one will reveal her betrayal of Philip, and after a short period, the police go to Philip's house. They inform him that they found his son's body on the street, and when Julia hears it, she pretends that she is sad and continues to cry for Martin, while Philip remains shocked and asks the police about his son's death while they are. He tells him that it is suicide, and Philippe does not accept the idea of his son's death because he knows that it is impossible for Martin to commit suicide. Then he sees a picture of Julie on Martin's camera while she is in the pool, and Julie sees. The picture doesn't say anything. The next day she was playing sports and Nadine was waiting for her to leave the house. Then she went to Philippe and told him that his wife was cheating on him with his son, and she saw him saying it. You are late, and he decides to put an end to this matter and takes the gun and goes after Julie into the woods, and the movie does not show anything after that, and here the movie ends. If you liked the movie, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next movie.